This season of Drag Race, I fell in love. I fell in actual love with Welcome back to the Miscellaneous channel where we do miscellaneous things. I'm Zeleny. I made a video early this year after the premieres of both Drag Race US Season 13 and Drag Race UK Season 2. In that video, I admitted that I was enjoying Drag Race UK more. By the way, thank you so much if you watched that video. It's my most watched video by a long shot. And I had lipstick on my teeth for most of it. It was so embarrassing. And I did get some amazing comments on that video from people in the UK, so that was super exciting, and I'll mention some of those later in the video. So at the time that I filmed that video, I felt like it was gonna be a semi-unpopular opinion, like, oh, I'm so edgy. I'm enjoying the UK one more than the US. Wow. Right after I filmed that, I started seeing reactions from all kinds of people about how good the UK season was. I was seeing queens from like Bob and Aquaria and all kinds of Ru girls tweeting about how good the UK season was. I was seeing people on the subreddits. I'm just glad the UK season isn't getting slept on this time as much as I noticed season 1 be. It's even got to the point where Candy Muse tweeted telling us to stop comparing the two seasons and just shut up and eat our food and enjoy both season 13 and season 2 of UK. Hey, maybe Candy Muse is one of the 2 dislikes on my video. So sad. So this overwhelming response to the UK season have got me thinking that season 2 of Drag Race UK might be one of the best seasons of Drag Race ever across the franchise. It might be the best season of all time. Like, I am ready to sort of make that bold claim. I have seen this opinion here and there, so I know I'm definitely not alone in thinking that or wondering that. Obviously, it's subjective to think about, is it the best ever? But honestly, I think season 13 is an alright season. Like, it has a strong cast and it is enjoyable, aside from it being 84 years long and sort of dragging itself out. And I think season 13 is suffering from airing concurrently to one of the best seasons we've seen ever. So I wanted to break down all of the components that are making Drag Race UK season 2 one of the best seasons of all time, compare it to some of the moments we've seen in the past that were iconic, and determine whether it is officially, in my eyes, the best season ever. So I want to talk about the cast first. The cast you have in a Drag Race season is really the make or break component to making an amazing season or a mediocre season. And Drag Race UK has delivered on the cast. Delivered on the cast. The queens are overflowing with talent and personality. They're open and vulnerable and not afraid to be themselves. They're campy, not overproducing themselves like in the US we've seen now. They're able to have conflicts with each other without getting canceled or having the fear of being canceled by the fandom. Even though they are getting some cyberbullying, which really sucks, and I hope to make a video on that at some point. So let's break down this amazing cast that has given us this amazing season. First of all, the first 3 eliminated queens were a total gag. All of them had strong potential to get far, and I was shook when they went home, especially Estina Mandela. I mean, Joe Black on the first episode was a big gag. It seemed like she was a really strong contender. And Cherry Valentine too, her judging to me was very questionable. The judging is at least consistent with the US version in that it is questionable. Then we have Ginny Lemon, who gave us an iconic moment in her self-elimination before her lip sync. This was a crazy moment that wasn't made up by producers with some weird scenario like they did on season 13 at the beginning. It wasn't this super manipulated and orchestrated moment to cause drama. It was just Ginny being Ginny, sticking to her principles, I guess, and it just made one of those moments that was just what? And it's controversial because it's People have different opinions of whether it's disrespectful or not. It's definitely memorable as an elimination. This has only been outdone by Ben de la Creme in All Stars 3, who had her iconic exit as well. We also had Veronica Greene, who was an underdog type queen. She seemed very timid at the beginning, but then we saw her sort of flourish and come out as this musical theater queen that she is. She had some great looks, and it was super unfortunate we didn't get to see how far she could go. But it is exciting that we get to see her again next season at least. Also, I feel like Joe Black coming back after the COVID break was interesting in that it gave us RuPaul's outbursts, a Tyra Banks style, I was rooting for you, we're all rooting for you moment with her RuPaul's H&M rant. I don't want to see any goddamn H&M. That outburst was so silly just because it was her challenge look, and her runway look was actually very not H&M quality. Like, it was very designed and well done. It feels like queens wear casual clothes all the time for the challenge parts of things, but at least it gave us an iconic moment. Then we have Tia Coffee, who I think stayed in the competition way longer than her drag maybe qualified her to, in my opinion, but I do think she was so charming. She made all of us fall in love with her, and I think I was grateful to just have her as long as possible in the competition because she's just so hilarious. She's just having fun. She's not delusional about what she's bringing to the table. She's really one of the funniest and most charming queens I think we've ever seen on Drag Race. Unfortunately, I feel like Sister to me was the most like filler queen of the season. Like, I never sort of got who she was. But she did provide some great conflicts with her stealing looks sort of moments with Ahura. So she did provide some interesting moments. I just do think like, there were other queens I thought should have gone further than her. Then we have Ahura, who I think is one of the most talented fashion designers we've seen on Drag Race in general. Her COVID look was so well done and so cool. It just felt like all her looks were so thought out and conceptual, but still fashion and chic. She also provided some great drama. She was not afraid to be bitchy, and she was hilarious. She even provided us with the Ahura Taste sort of love tease. I don't know what that ended up being in the end, but that was definitely very juicy and exciting to see playing out in the workroom. And speaking of Taze, I feel like Taze is one of the most beautiful people we've seen on Drag Race, like, ever. Like, the most stunning face. Like, I could never tell if Taze's look was good or bad, like her outfit, because she just looks so good. Her makeup looks so good. I could not tell. That Brillo pad look she did, I thought that looked good just because she looked so good. So for me, it was very hard to judge Taste's looks in general. And I didn't figure out they were bad until the judges said so. Then we have Ellie Diamond, who I believe has a lot of charm, but I do think she is a little green for Drag Race. She brought a youthful energy both in her looks and in her personality, and I think that's sort of what's gonna hinder her in the finale. Then we had Laurence Cheney, who was everybody's front runner from the get-go, I feel like. She had incredible polished looks all of the time. She was really, really hilarious in her personality, very magnetic, and also not afraid to be vulnerable and lay all her feelings out there. Laurence Cheney really just like puts her feelings out, and there's something just like very endearing about that. And finally, this season of Drag Race, I fell in love. I fell in actual love with Bimini Bon Boulash. So from the minute she walked in, I was like, oh my god, I'm in love with Bimini. I am in love. I was so sad because she was in the bottom the first episode, and so I was just bracing myself every episode like, okay, she's gonna go home next because the judges don't like her from the get-go. She's like maybe a little rough around the edges. And then she came up as this huge dark horse that just is obliterating the competition by the end. I'm so proud to see it. I'm so proud to see it. No, I'm so excited. I feel like usually the queens I like the most always end up going home early for some reason. I'm so glad Bimini has been the exception to the rule. I'm really, really attracted, I think, to people that embody the masculine and feminine within themselves, like in a beautiful balance. And I think Bimini is the epitome of that. The yellow mullet, like, they're just so gorgeous. Like, out of drag, I was in love with Bimini as well. Like, she is my love. I stan. She's my bias. Everything you want to call it. So please enjoy this fan cam I made for Bimini in order to apply to stan her for life. She is beauty, she is grace, she's the epitome of punk, she's conceptual and hilarious, and as you can probably guess, I am hashtag Team Bimini for the finale. So let me talk about the format of the show. So the show itself, Drag Race UK has given us so many great moments, and I think the producers got the structure exactly right by doing the most unexpected thing they could do, and that is keep it freaking simple. Do the classics we know and love, and then just let the queens take it from there. The whole structure of this season is very reminiscent of like the golden era of Drag Race, seasons 4 through 6 or whatever. Even RuPaul and the judges seem a lot more loose in the UK. I mentioned that in my first video about this. For example, it was so nice to see RuPaul in that first episode do like a photo shoot challenge with the queens and have like this banter that was just silly and fun. I don't know why they don't do that anymore in the US, but they used to do that all the time before the VH1 seasons. And it's just sad that they don't anymore. I feel like RuPaul doesn't get much FaceTime with the queens anymore. Also, the mini challenges on this season were really straightforward and really fun, honestly. I think my favorite one was the limbo challenge, and it was just literally limbo, like the simplest game of all time. But it was just so fun because they were in drag and heels and big hair, and it was so hard to get to play. I also enjoyed that voting mini challenges where they voted each other like most bitchy and most betrayed or whatever it was. That was a fun challenge to make drama and conflict that was like pretty straightforward but fun, and I don't think we've seen that on Drag Race US aside from that one time they did like an award show thing, and that was part of like the main challenge, and I believe season 7 that was part of the main challenge. So that was a fun mini challenge, I thought, that voting one, and a shady one, but in a fun way. I don't know. Then we also had our classic mini challenges like the reading challenge and the freaking puppet challenge. Oh my god, I was so excited to see the puppet challenge this past episode. The puppet challenge I think is always my favorite mini challenge because it's kind of like the reading challenge, but they know each other so much that it's even better, I feel like. I'm so annoyed they like never do it on the US one anymore, and I'm just like, why not? They did the puppet challenge. I'm glad they checked off the puppet challenge on Drag Race UK, and it was really fun. It got pretty saucy with actual like feelings hurt between Ellie and Laurence. They weren't afraid to get dirty with it. I think the main challenges on Drag Race UK have also been very consistent, very good. We've had a great assortment. Mostly we've had like challenges we know and love, but they're not too overcomplicated. The girl group challenge made an actual bop yet again with UK Hun. I still love Break Up Bye Bye, I think a little more than UK hun. But the writers of these songs are so talented, and I wish they would come over to the US and help them make some bops too, because these songs are so good. They're like top 40 Billboard good, you know? By the way, the writers of both season 1 and season 2 song are Leland and Freddie Scott. So we also had our classic main challenges that we know and love, like the Rusical, the Snatch Game, the Design Challenge, the Talk Show Challenge, the Stand-Up Comedy Challenge. I just feel like we got all of the classics in this season, and they were set up simply enough that the queens were able to really rise to the occasion and showcase their talents in a way that was really well done. So to me, the main challenges were like as perfect as you can get on a Drag Race season. Then we had the total curveball of COVID-19 interrupting the middle of the season, which is like a crazy obstacle for production and everyone to overcome. It's exciting to see that it doesn't seem to have affected production negatively in any way. It didn't affect the quality of the season. The only negative thing to come out of it was sadly Veronica's departure. That was premature, but I'm really glad we got this COVID-19 special. It was like a separate episode on the WOW app of them documenting the queens in quarantine and what they were going through during the break. I feel like it was really heartwarming to see the queens sort of in their home life, see their struggles, get to know them better on like a very personal, vulnerable level. So I think it really helped just like fall in love with these queens even more. It was crazy to see Cherry Valentine go through her struggles as like a healthcare worker and all these things that we just never get that deep on the main season. Also, it's important to note that this episode was released concurrently with a regular episode of the season, not as a skip week like the US season 13 did. And lastly, something I really enjoy about the UK seasons is having the Untucked happen chronologically. It is within the episode as a whole. I feel like that gives us more of like the highlights of actually what's going on, and it has more suspense to it because we don't know who's going home yet. And also, these queens did not hold back in Untucked, so all of the Untucked moments were very dramatic, very intense, and very exciting as a viewer. Okay, let me talk about the runway real quick. I feel like this is the key sort of separation between season 1 and season 2 of Drag Race UK. I feel like season 1 had a lot of the same charm. The queens were really great and really funny, really unfiltered in the same way. The one thing that season 2 I think improves upon season 1 is the polish of the queens. That kind of polish is what we expect from like the US queens all the time, but I think Drag Race UK really brought both like the charm and personality of their season 1 and sort of the polish that we've come to expect in later seasons of the US version, and I think that made for like a killer season. The queens served really memorable, iconic looks throughout this whole season, and also I feel like the runway themes that they were given by the judges or by production were really cool and fun. I mentioned this before, but I really love that first runway and how we got to know them with it. I really liked the one that was Queen of Your Hometown because it gave us like a reference point to understand where they're from in a way, and it was just really cool. There were a lot of super memorable looks like Estina's Naomi Campbell that first week. Then we have like Bimini's Bacteria, Team Bimini, Ahura and her COVID-19 blue look that had the wings. Oh, it was just so cool. Laurence Cheney always brought like really glamorous and polished concepts to the runway. Taste brought the most beautiful mug we've ever seen. All around, so good on the runway. Like, there were weeks where I was like, no one's really in the bottom for me. So let me get into my final thoughts and my finale predictions, because as of recording this, the finale has not aired, and it airs in 2 days if you're watching this when it goes up. It airs on Thursday, March something. So for the finale, as I mentioned, I am hashtag Team Bimini. Not a joke, just a fact. But I do think it is a toss-up between Bimini and Laurence. I think Taste is a solid third place just because her looks have not been loved by the judges for most of the season. And then I do think Ellie is a fourth place because she hasn't had any wins under her belt. She seems to be lacking a bit in both budget and experience compared to her competition. And I think she'll go far in her career. I think it's just a little early for who she's competing against. So I think it's important to note that the essence of UK drag seems to have this influence on the season that helps it have that charming feel compared to the US version. According to some of the comments I got from people in the UK, which is crazy to me, that's so exciting. They mentioned how drag culture is a little different over there and that there is more emphasis on comedy or camp or performance rather than like fashion or even being a great role model like in the US. Liam commented, "In terms of our culture, we love people who are characters and we hate inauthenticity. The majority of our favorite shows are arguably underproduced." I mean, I think that is why the UK is quite the pioneer in reality TV. "We like to form friendships and express vulnerability through humor, which works well for the show." I think Laurence Cheney is a great example of this. She's always using self-deprecating humor and just like being so vulnerable, but she's hilarious at the same time, so that makes a lot of sense. So Becky also provided a UK perspective in my comments. She said, she mentioned how drag history plays a part in this in each country. The US has a history of pageantry and thus competition, while the UK has roots in more comedic drama and panto, which I just learned what panto is this last episode really, where the aim is to entertain an audience with humor and singing. The drag doesn't take itself too seriously. I think that's a huge factor. Anthony commented, "The presentation of UK is reminiscent of older Drag Race seasons. The US show is overproduced, focused on drama over the entertainment from the queens." Yeah, I think I appreciate so many people chimed in and it's so true. Like, the UK just has this authenticity that isn't matched by the seasons we're seeing right now in the US. I think that's what happens when big money gets involved, like VH1. So I think the British culture does like lend itself better to the underproduction and sort of authenticity we crave as reality TV viewers. So all in all, my final verdict is that this is the best season of all time of Drag Race. Yep, like I said, it is it is a bold claim, but it has literally everything we could want from a Drag Race season. An iconic and memorable cast, non-overproduced gag-worthy moments like Ginny's exit, RuPaul's H&M outburst, strong queens getting eliminated at the beginning. It overcame the obstacle of the pan dulce in the middle. The queens really delivered on all the classic challenges we love. Everyone on the show was vulnerable, authentic, bitchy, whatever they were, and stunning on top of all of that. Drag Race UK Season 2 has proven that the international franchises are not to be overlooked. I really enjoyed Drag Race Thailand, I enjoyed Canada, and I enjoyed UK Season 1. So I personally was not writing off the international ones, and this just proves that they can be even better than the US. I'm kind of excited, looking forward to Drag Race España, which I hope to cover on this channel since I happen to know Spanish, but there's a lot coming, Down Under's coming. I did not watch Holland because I couldn't find it subtitled, so let me know if I should watch that. I am predicting in the future we're gonna get some crossover international all-star seasons. I do think it'll be epic when we get to see the queens from different countries interact in one competition. That'll be exciting when it happens, and I can't wait to see how they do it. So that's all I have for today's video. Please let me know if you agree or disagree that this is the best season of all time. It is a sort of drastic claim. If you don't think it's the best season, tell me what is the best season in your opinion and why it's better. Also, who are you rooting for the crown on Thursday? And if you're watching this after the finale, who were you rooting for? Honestly, I'll be happy if Laurence or Bimini wins. Even Taste, even though I just don't think it's likely that Taste will win, but I like them all, and Since they don't win the money, it's kind of not that big a deal who wins. I'm sure both Bimini, Laurence, Taste, everybody will have great careers after this. Let me know what your favorite moments from the UK season were. There were so many great ones to pick from. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed. I put out videos once or twice a week talking about pop culture, reality TV, dumb shows on Netflix, and other miscellaneous things. And you can follow me at Miscellaneous on Instagram or Twitter to get updated about new videos, or just turn on the bell notification here on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!